Hello everyone, and welcome to your 69th Cocoa programming tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about NSWindowController and how we can use it to manage the lifecycle of our windows. So previously, about 4 years ago, we talked about NSViewController, and I'm not sure why I didn't want to cover NSWindowController right after that, but I didn't. So this is me coming back 4 years later to talk about window controllers. Now, a view controller everyone's quite familiar with. It essentially manages the lifecycle of a view. So when a view comes on screen, when it leaves the screen, if you want to just configure content of the window, or the view rather, or if you, let's say, have a button in the view and you want it to interact back with the controller, right? You might use target action, or you might have a delegate, something like that, and you would have a view controller to manage that. So pretty much everybody's familiar with that concept, either on macOS or iOS. The other thing on macOS, though, is that we also have window controllers. And window controllers allow us to manage individual windows. So you essentially have the same idea where you have a single window controller to manage a single window. Now, the window controller is just a nice separation so that you don't end up having every window controlled by the app delegate. And this is unfortunately the default representation that we are given in Xcode when you do a Nib-based representation. So the first thing that I like to do if I'm doing a Nib-based Cocoa application, which is generally what I use, I would go to main menu.nib and I want to delete this window. So just select it on the left here, hit delete, and now it's gone. And we can also remove the outlet that is associated with the app delegate. So now we want to just create our own window controller. And in Cocoa applications, right, it is very common to have multiple windows. And just so you have some examples, think of even a simple Cocoa application would have probably a main window. It might have a preference pane. It might have an about window, right? There's 3 windows right there that you could separate into 3 NSWindow controllers. If you had a document-based application, you would probably want, and that could be an example like TextEdit, right? Each one of those documents probably is backed by an individual window controller. More complex applications, maybe Photoshop, for example, would have different panels, and each one of those panels is backed by, it is a window, so it's backed by a window controller, right? These are the kind of architectural decisions that you might want to go with if you're building one of these applications. All right, so let's start with how can we use a window controller. So let's go ahead and make a new Cocoa class here, subclass of NSWindowController, and I'm going to make the first one using a nib file. So we want to have, using a nib file in this configuration, I'm just going to call it main window controller, and we're using Swift in this tutorial, unfortunately. All right, so here we go. We have our main window controller. And let's talk about how we could present this thing. So this is the class. We also made the backing nib, so this should be the window that we would end up displaying. Generally, if it's just the main window, we could have a property for it in our app delegate. So let's just call it main window controller. Main window controller. And then I want to show this window, and there's a method on NSWindowController called showWindow, and you can pass the sender. It's just nice for a IB action setup, basically. And we can go ahead and run this, and you might be expecting a window, but you would be incorrect. We're not going to get any window because I don't know, AppKit has quirks. So this might seem weird because if you remember back in the NSViewController tutorial, NSViewController has a different way of assuming its initialization. So if I just said, for example, ViewController open close parentheses, the behavior of NSViewController is actually to take the class name, which in this case would be ViewController, and look up a corresponding nib, in this case ViewController.nib, and it would actually instantiate using that nib file. So it would just take the class name and try to instantiate a nib with the same class name. Window controllers, for whatever reason, don't have this same thing, and you actually have to tell them explicitly which nib files you're going to use. Not too difficult, but just kind of one of those, why is this different, behaviors of AppKit. All right, so here we've got self.init, and we're going to call the window nib name method. So we can pass in, main window controller, right? Just our class name there. And let's go ahead and try and run this again. So with this slight change where we're overriding our init method, we can see that we now get the window that was in that nib file. Okay, so one downfall to this approach is that we're still allowed to pass in different things. So I could use any of the NSWindowController initializers. So I could pass a different nib name, I could pass an entirely different window, right? There's a lot of things that I could do. So for example, if I just pass a totally different nib name in this example, I'm just going to get nothing. So that's great. It doesn't really, unfortunately, is exposing API that we don't really want to have it using. Now, this worked great in Objective-C because in Objective-C, all I had to say was this method is unavailable. So what generally you would do is just say all the initializers that aren't this initializer. So you would declare an init method on your header, and then you would just mark any of the other initializers that you might use as unavailable. And that just meant that anybody that tried to call them would get a compiler warning saying that this method was unavailable to use. The problem is with Swift, there's no way to just declare that a method is unavailable and then have it be available just for your use. So if you say something's unavailable, it is truly unavailable to everyone at compile time. And then that would mean I couldn't call this method. So, Swift just sometimes it kind of sucks to use it. And this is one of those cases where it doesn't play very well with the existing frameworks. Now, one different approach that you can take is actually overriding a property on NSWindowController. Now, there's a property called WindowNibName, and you could actually override this, and just copy this, and we could return a different string. So I'm just going to return the name of the class, and this would actually mean that for any initializer that's given, it's going to still attempt to load this WindowNibName. So even though I'm passing something different here, right? I'm passing a different nib name. Internally, it's still going to try and use that there. So it's a different approach. I'm not really sure that I would recommend the approach because it's not clearly documented that this should be correct behavior. It does happen to work, but for at least a suggestion, I think it's probably safe just to go with this version because at the end of the day, you can avoid calling it with WindowNibName. Just remember not to. So not really a big deal, but kind of an annoyance. Anyway, let's leave it at that for now. Now let's talk about how we could customize the window. So the different approaches we could do here, we could either inject the view controller content, or we could just load the view controller right inside our window.didLoad. So at window.didLoad, I'm going to load that little view controller class that I created for this tutorial. And if I go ahead and run this application, we can see that it would load the content of that view controller into our window. So this is a nice behavior, right? It encapsulates all the logic of what the window wants to show, and we don't really have to expose it to something like the app delegate, for example. Now, another approach that you might want to take is, let's say you wanted to maybe load different view controllers, right? And a window controller could load different view controllers. An example of this could be perhaps the preference pane. Maybe you want to launch the preference pane into a particular preference pane on launch. So let's, for example, you could make a property here where you could have maybe an enum or some other thing to say that we want either the first tab, the second tab, or the third tab on the preference pane to load initially. And then in window.didLoad, you could select which view controller you should actually put into the main window as the initial thing to see. So these are different types of things, but the nice thing about this, right, is that you have one interface, which is your main window controller, and you can just have publicly expose what you want to present with the window controller without mucking with the details of, putting in a content view controller in this case. Okay, so that's the nib approach. Let's talk about one other approach, which is the code approach. So I'm going to make a new Cocoa class here as well. Not going to load it with a nib this time. And we're going to call this the code window controller. So the code window controller is going to be relatively simple, but in this case, we just don't want a nib, right? So it might sound easy, but in practice, it's not the best way. So there are kind of two ways to go about this, but I'll tell you what my sort of preferred way is. So on NSWindowController, there is an initializer that takes a window, and you can pass this window into as your initializer. So one way that you could tackle this is to override init and just create a window and then pass it into the init with window initializer. That would work fine. The downside to that approach is that you have to load the window and its content right away. And this can be okay in some cases, and maybe it's fine for your case, but the nice thing is that with having this sort of window did load callback, right, we can actually initialize the window controller first. We can configure different values, right, but we don't actually have to load the window or the view right away. Right, so we can wait until perhaps we want to show the window, and this is just a nice performance win, right? We can just set up the window controller in sort of this lightweight way, and then when we need to present it on screen, then we can actually load the window to do that. So if you want to have a code-based sort of lazy loading approach, the way to do that is to override loadWindow. And this again is kind of in the zone of not really officially documented behavior, but I believe it is fine to do. So loadWindow's documentation mostly says that you could load in a different nib that might not be in your main bundle, but there isn't really anything against you loading just a window also in loadWindow. So I think it's fine to do this approach, and it's similar to loadView, which is also a view controller thing. So for all intents and purposes, pretty sure what I'm about to say is fine. So what I'm going to do here is actually set up a window, and I have a custom window that I have created already. I'm going to just make a quick sort of setup for it. So give it some initial size and height. I actually set the style mask internally, so don't really care about that. And all that doesn't really matter what I put in. Okay, so here, what I want to do is I want to then set the window on this class to be window. So, and maybe for shorthand, I could just say self.window gets that. All right, so if I wanted to configure something else about this window, I could, do that here. But that's where I'm essentially loading the window that we're going to be showing in this application. Okay, so the other thing that we have to do is make sure that the initializer is actually going to call the init method. Now, kind of bizarre, but just kind of follow along, I guess, and I'll try to explain why maybe this matters. But so here we want to call window nib name, and I'm going to pass it a garbage nib name. And the reason for this is kind of odd, but basically your window controller won't try to load the window unless you have a nib name. Again, you can actually see this behavior if you override window nib name. If you change that back and forth, you'll see that it'll either load this window or it won't. So this approach is one way that you can basically set a fake window nib name, and then the window controller will call loadWindow. Again, kind of weird AppKit stuff that probably shouldn't be the behavior, but it is the behavior. So I guess you just kind of deal with it. Okay, the last thing we can do here is to actually set up our content view. So I'm just going to set that same view controller that we had before, and let's hope that this all works out. So of course we have to make our property for this. So lazy var code window controller. And then I'm going to show this window like so. All right, so let's go ahead and run that. And as you can see, yay, we get our fake little window over here. This is just the window class that I made. It's pretty simple. If you want to look at the code, it'll all be available on GitHub, but that's what we get. So the nice thing about this is you can see we have two totally different windows, and both of them are actually injecting the same view controller. So there's kind of this nice separation of concerns where we have our view content, and then we actually have the window controlling content as well. All right, so that's pretty much the majority of what I wanted to cover. The last thing I just wanted to show is how this actually does get lazily loaded. So to kind of prove this is we can try to put in some print statements here. So I'm going to throw in here, and what this is going to do is it's going to essentially force us to initialize our main window controller and our code window controller. But what I want to show you is that in both of these, the window did load code is actually going to be called when we are attempting to show the window. So if I go ahead and run this again, we'll see that our code is goes through initialization. And if I look at the backtrace over here, we can actually see that when we're actually loading the window is when we actually go to show the window. And again, this is just nice behavior that we can lightly load the window controller, and then we can only load the window when we actually have to display it on screen. So anyway, I hope this covers most of your questions on how you can deal with window controllers. Again, just the general concept is you have one window controller per window, and ideally you try to load the window in sort of this lazy fashion where you want to just load the window near the end of just before you're about to display it. And then the general idea with window controllers as well is just encapsulating the logic that might come with the window itself. So again, in that preference pane example that I mentioned, maybe you have this window controller that you want to split between picking view controller A, B, or C, and you could just have publicly expose on the window controller itself just this sort of enum of saying I want item A, B, or C. And then internally, you can wrap all the logic of how you load in the view controllers depending on what's selected or what you want to show on launch, etc. So hopefully this helps you guys out with some of your management for your AppKit applications. And I'll see you guys in an upcoming tutorial. See you then.